Okay, this is workout number 1 for 2015-16 math accounts. It says on average, a human fingernail grows at a rate of 3 millimeters per month. At this rate, how many total meters will Deshaun's 10 fingernails grow over the next 10 years? Express your answer as a decimal to the nearest tenth. Well, think about this in terms of, dimensional analysis, 3 millimeters per month. And over 10 years, that's going to be 120 months. So there are 120 months in our 10-year period. And then I'm looking at this by 10 total fingers. And so that'll be the answer. It's going to be 3 times 120, that's 360, that's 3,600. But be careful, it's asking for it in meters. This is in millimeters. And so 3,600 millimeters, if I want to convert that into meters, I know that in 1 meter there are 10 to the minus 3 millimeters. Remember, that's what milli means. Remember your metric prefixes over here. I'll give you a quick little primer. So going from giga, which is 10 to the ninth, mega, 10 to the 6th, kilo, 10 to the 3rd, then crossing over, centi, 10 to the minus 2, milli, 10 to the minus 3. What's next? Micro, 10 to the minus 6. Nano, 10 to the minus 9. And sometimes we use pico, 10 to the minus 12. There is a decimeter in here as well, but I'm not going to list it. Okay, so let's see, that's 3.6 meters. What percent of prime numbers have less than 100 have a units digit of 3? Oh gosh, I guess just write out all your prime numbers. So we're going to start with 2. 1 isn't a prime number. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, 29, 31, 37, 41, 43, 47, 53, 59, 61, 67, 71, 73, 79, after that 83, 89, and 97. Might be an easier way to do this problem. If so, you can leave it in the comments section of this. So I want to have a units digit that of 3. Well, how many of these have a units digit of 3? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, and then there are a total of 25. So my percent is going to be 7 divided by 25, and that in percentages, 7 divided by 25 times 100 is 28%. In Mrs. Abel's class, there are 16 girls and 14 boys. The mean of the girls' height is 63.7 inches, and the mean of the boys' height is 65.4 inches. What is the mean of the heights of all 30 students? Okay, well here, I'm going to let G represent the sum of all the heights for the girls. So if I divide the sum of all the heights of the girls by 16, then I'm going to get the average, which is 63.7. And similarly, I'm going to let B represent the sum of heights of all the boys. If I divide that by 14, then I get 65.4. Okay, so that's B and G. G is equal to 16 times 63.7. I'm going to add that to B, which is going to be 14 times 65.4, and divide that by the total number, which is 16 plus 14, or 30, and then that gives me the mean of the heights, or the average of the heights of all 30 students, which is going to be 64.5. So 64.5 inches. The price P in dollars that APCO charges annual subscribers for downloading X smartphone applications is calculated using this formula. Subscriber downloaded 25 applications. What is the average cost per applications? All right, so P, the cost, the price for 25 applications would be 5 plus 1.25 times 25. But I want to know what is the average cost. Well, this total cost works out to be 36 1/4. That's how much it costs. So if I want to know the average cost for 25 of these apps, it's going to be $1.45. The local gaming club has 2 but fewer than 20 members. Each member of the group purchased a signed copy of the latest book from the legendary Dumas for a grand total of exactly $299. If each member paid the same whole number dollar amount, how many members are in the club? Again, might be an easier way to this, but I'm just going to sort of take the brute force. I'm going to say, let's see, actually, 299. That's the total amount that I know was paid, divided by X. Has to give me a whole number. So like for example, I start with 299 divided by 20, that's 1495. So it's not 20, that doesn't give me a whole number for X. It's not 19, that doesn't give me a whole number for X. Sorry about that. In fact, if I keep going down, it turns out that the only one that will give me a whole number is X equal 13. 299 divided by 13 is equal to $23. So the answer is 13 members. You could also go up. Again, there might be a more elegant way to do that, but you know, it doesn't take that long to go through those 9 divisions, especially since you can use a calculator. Jamie is building a 2-story house in which the top floor is 12 feet above the bottom floor. The local building code specifies that the height of a step cannot exceed 7.5 inches. What is the maximum height of a step in a staircase that Jamie can construct between 2 floors if they all have the same height? I'm going to take a similar thing here. I know that I have 144 inches because 12 feet is 144 inches. If I divide that by the height of the step, I'll call that H. I know that this has to be a whole number. It has to be an integer. So I just want to find which X will give me a whole number beginning at 7.5. So for example, 144 divided by 7.5 is 19.2. Right, so it's not 7.5. If I do 7.4, I find that that's also not a whole number. In fact, I find that 144 divided by 7.2 is the first whole number, and that's equal to, what is that? Oh, that's equal to, let's see, 20, right? Yeah, so it's equal to 20. So there are going to be 20 steps, and there'll be 7.2 inches. The first and second books of a book series have 10 and 11 chapters respectively, and each chapter has exactly 20 pages. The total thickness of the pages in the first book is 14 millimeters. In the second book, the total thickness of the pages plus the 2 covers is 17 millimeters. The thickness of each page in book 1 is the same as that in book 2, and the thicknesses of each cover is the same as in books 1 and 2. What is the total thickness of the 2 books stacked cover to cover? Okay, so I know that the first book has a thickness of 14 millimeters, the pages, and there are 200 pages in the first book. So for the first book, I have 200 pages. That's because it has 10 chapters, and each chapter has 20 pages, so that's 200 pages. And 200 pages times the thickness of the page is equal to 14 millimeters. So here X represents the thickness of the page. And then I can determine what is the thickness of the page. So calculating X, this is the thickness of the page, is 0.07 millimeters. That's the thickness of the page. Now I need to find out what is the thickness of the covers. So for the second book, I know that 220X, because the second book has 11 chapters, each with 20 pages. It has 220 pages. So the width of just the pages is going to be 220X plus twice the covers. I'll call that C, twice the width of the covers, because you know there are 2 covers. That this is equal to 17 millimeters. Where's that? It's right here. Because the total thickness of the pages plus the back covers is 17 millimeters. I know X now, so I can solve this for C. 15.4 plus 2c equals 17 millimeters, and subtract 15.4 from both sides, divide by 2, and I get that the cover is 0.8 millimeters. So now I have the thickness of the pages and the thickness of the covers, and so if I want to know the total thickness, I say 200x, that's the width of the pages in the first book, plus 220x, that's the second book, plus 4 total covers, and putting in those values for x and c, I get 32.6 millimeters. Let's see, nearest tenth, so 32.6. The line that contains 4, -7 and 3, -314 also contains a point 0b. What is the value of b? Well, note that this is the y-intercept, b, because that's at x equals 0. So if I can find the slope, then I can plug in one of the points and then find the y-intercept just from the equation of the line. So let's find the slope first. The slope is delta y over delta x, rise over run. That's going to be 14 minus -7 over -3 minus 4. That's 21 over -7, which is -3. So this line has a slope of -3. I know that the equation of a line is y equals mx plus b. I'm trying to solve for b because I know that that's my y-intercept right here. So I'm just going to pick one of these. I'll pick this one and put in values for x and y. So I have -7 equals the slope, which is -3, times x, which is 4, plus b. And so I then find b is equal to 12 minus 7, or b is equal to 5. So the y-intercept for this line that goes through these 2 points is 5. You know what, number 39? I don't know. I know that the answer supposedly is 1 times 10 to the 9th, and I'm not sure how to get that from these right off. I might come back to this and fix it later. If you want to remark in the comments about how to do this, that's great. All right, two sides of a triangle are 15 and 18 centimeters in length. The altitude to the 18 centimeter side is 10 centimeters. What is the length of the altitude to the 15 centimeter side? Well, part of this is just knowing what altitude is. So I'm going to try to draw this triangle best I can. It'll look something like this, maybe. This is our 18 centimeter side. This is our 15 centimeter side. The altitude is the distance from a vertex to a side. Oh, that's not very good. Let me get rid of that. Such that the angle is 90 degrees. I haven't drawn a very good triangle. No, because this is basically a right triangle. Let me redraw it just a little bit. You can see better. That's all right. So my vertex, or my altitude to the 18 side looks like this. That angle has to be 90 degrees. And my altitude to the 15 side no, that's not going to work either. I'm sorry. Let me redraw this completely. I'm sorry. Let's redraw it. I think this will work. So let's see. We'll say this is our 15 and this is our 18. The altitude looks like this. Starts at the vertex here. It forms a 90-degree angle there. And the altitude here looks like this. Just play along with me, okay? So here, I can do a couple things. I know that the altitude from the 18 centimeter side is 10 centimeters. So notice that I can find the area of this triangle, 1/2 base times height. 1/2 times 18 times 10. That gives me the area of the triangle. I can also find the area of the triangle. Imagine it's flipped over so that this is the base. Then it would be 1/2 times 15 times the height, which would be the length of this side. And then I solve for h. Halves cancel. I have 180 over 15 equals h. H is equal to 12 centimeters. And again, this was 1 times 10 to the ninth, but I don't know how to get that exactly. In fact, I looked it up on the internet, and some people dispute that it actually is 1 times 10 to the ninth, but that's what the answer key gives. All right, that is workout number 1. Again, you are allowed to use calculators on this.